Maybe we should start with that story
Yeah.
for people that aren't familiar, because it's so seminal to who you are and the course of your life.
So when I was little, my mom had manic bipolar disorder. And my dad is an engineer. He raised us so dedicated, but very much the like, put them in sports so they can learn how to fall down and get back up, make sure they go to school, make sure they have lunch. But he had to work, and he's not a very emotionally available guy. And so I didn't really understand it all. I don't know that much about her still, because my dad doesn't really talk about her sometimes if I like really talk to him, but it's not that he doesn't, I really have to ask. And I think she got more sick when I was born. I think she had really bad postpartum, and she had scoliosis. And so she was on painkillers, and she got addicted to them. So she had alcohol problems. She had a substance abuse problems, and she was really smart. So she was like writing her own prescriptions and getting more of the painkillers. So she was able to like get her
Play the system a little bit.
Yeah. To the point where I almost admire her. I'm like, oh my God, she was like so scrappy to like go to these boutique pharmacies that didn't have computer systems and like and I'm like, oh, I see that in me a little bit when I used to like get myself out of class in high school. Like not the same thing, but I'm like, I'm pretty smart too. But so she was really sick, and she, you know, I saved her life one time, and that's like that's a really hard memory, because it's an unseeable thing. It's an unseeable thing to see your parent trying to lacerate themselves and then tell you not to tell anyone. Like, it was horrible. I didn't really understand then, like, what it was. I just knew instinctually this is bad, and got her help. And
you were very young at the time. You were 4 or 5 years old at this point.
Yeah. And it's hard, because you're like, why is she not emoting? Like, why does this not, because she wasn't, that's really the scariest part, is like, why doesn't this affect her? And both, why doesn't pain affect her? And why doesn't me seeing this pain, why doesn't her hurting me affect her? And I think that's probably like my biggest problem in life is like when people hurt me, it hurts. And I'm like, why doesn't this matter to them? And that's hard, because I'm like trying to like get something from somebody else when you can't really need anything from anybody else in life. And so what I was told about my mom was that she was just so sad that she had to go. That's all I've ever been told. She was just so sad she had to go. She had to go. And that narrative made me feel like there was some genetic, and her brother took his own life, and and then her mom was sick. Like, so genetically, I'm like, well, I better not be sad, because it seemed inevitable that my mom had to go. So I also rejected any kind of feelings of depression and sadness, because I didn't want to have to go. I thought it was like a disease or something that it's like you can't, once you want to have to go, you got to go. And I'm like, I don't want to die. So when I started to feel those feelings, I rejected them and didn't tell anyone, because I thought it was something I could never walk back from, right? Or heal from. So it got worse, and I felt so crazy. Like I felt horrible, and I was certain that I would never feel better. And that is a sign of mental unhealth. If you think you know your future, like when you are sure that you will feel X, Y, or Z in the future, you are sick, because nobody knows the future. And I think I did not feel pain like normal kids feel. I still think I don't feel it normally.
Physical pain or emotional pain?
Both. I don't feel it like people feel it. And I can push really, really, really hard, because I guess you could make adaptations. If you experience pain super severe, just like if someone hears really loud noises, their hearing might be naturally recalibrated to not hear as well. I don't think I feel pain like normal people do.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's
amazing. And it's like,
I feel way more pain than normal people. It hurts to walk up those stairs. I'm taking the escalator.
Yeah, I can just like plow through it, and that's good and bad.
Can you talk a little bit about, because I'm really fascinated by your life story, because you have a suicidal, mentally ill mom, and can you draw a line between the trauma that you suffered being raised by her? Can you draw a line between that and being a successful movie maker, best-selling author, podcaster, and Olympian? Like if your mom had been normal or if they had just gotten into divorce, do you think there's the possibility that you would just be a florist in Walnut Creek? And there's nothing wrong with being a florist in Walnut Creek, but you know what I mean? Like, what was it about that trauma that might have galvanized you toward this, incredible resume that you have?
Well, trauma is an engine, kind of. So it like gives you this battery in you that gives you, it gives you a vague ambition at the very least. It is energized. I don't know if it has direction specific in the material world, but you will find it. So I latched on to the Olympics because I was good at sports, and it was a way to definitely matter. Like I wanted to be indispensable to something because it felt like when nobody talked to me about her, it just felt like I didn't matter enough for her to stay. And that's a childish thing to think, but that's just how it felt when I was 6 and went to the 1996 Olympics and saw the Olympians and said, I want to be that, so that I have a place in this world and a credential that will not be taken away from me. And where it took me was all the way to the Olympics.
Hey, did you like that video? Why don't you click on this one? Or maybe watch this one? Or click over here.